Hi, everyone. I'm Jaime Rocha, attorney and counselor at law in the state of Texas, and I just wanted to take an opportunity now to reach out to you and try to pass on some important information on dealing with the coronavirus and the impact that it's having on our businesses, local town entrepreneurs. And what I wanted to do was just highlight some of the provisions of the recent law, the stimulus bill that was passed by Congress and signed by the president just last week. So let's get started. And I'm going to put this on Facebook Live. I'll download the video. I'll put it on my YouTube channel. So if there's anything that I say or go over anything too quickly, I want you to be able to pause, rewind the video, watch it again. And please, if you have questions, either now during the broadcast or as you're watching it later after it's been posted, comment below, send me a message. I'm happy to try to provide a little bit more guidance. The bill itself that was passed by Congress and signed by the president is, I think, over 800 pages long. So in a week's time, I've done the best that I could to read a lot of those 800 pages. Not all of them. And I'm taking a lot of help and guidance from other professionals who are also digging into the important parts of this new law. But understand that all of us are learning as we're going. All of us are doing the best we can and put it to you and to our clients. So let's start with just the basics. Just last Friday, March 27th, Congress passed and the president signed the CARES Act, which is, and I wrote some notes down just so I can keep my thoughts straight as we're talking, the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act. So I've always amazed at how these important bills can come up in Congress and somehow somebody comes up with a creative little acronym to describe the bill. So the CARES Act, C-A-R-E-S Act, CARES, Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, was passed and signed by the president just last Friday. And provisions of that law have been going into effect kind of on a rolling basis as the federal agencies have been able to do their rulemaking and regulations as they've been able to do it over this week. So today, April 3rd, 2020, we're sitting on the kickoff of an incredible resource. That's the best word for it. An incredible resource for small business owners. If you are not a small business owner, if you don't have a business, whether a sole proprietor, a corporation, an LLC, whether you do or don't have employees, you can stick to the end as well, because I'll also talk about the stimulus money that's going to all citizens that have filed tax returns over the last couple of years. So stick to the end and we'll talk about that briefly. But I really want the focus to be on our business owners. I've mentioned before in other live broadcasts that I've done on my personal Facebook page, and as I've talked to clients and friends now, is our small businesses are the heartbeat of our community. I'm coming to you from Kingsville, Texas, a town of 26,000 people. And there is a vibrance and there is a, I get a little choked up, even though this is my adopted new hometown. There's a vibrance and there is a vitality that comes from our small businesses. And it hurts to see them suffer like this with just not having enough income to keep their business going, not having enough customer traffic, because we're all doing what we need to do to get through this coronavirus pandemic. We're sheltering in place. We're following our stay-at-home orders. We're not gathering in groups of more than 10. We're not going out and spending money like we used to, going out to dinner on weekends, those kind of things. This Friday, today being Friday, it's just another example of a weekend of diminished or lost revenues that our small businesses are facing. And so that's why I want to focus this video on our small businesses and try to put some more of that information out. But I will talk briefly at the end about the stimulus check. So let's talk about this. So what's available? The resources that are available through the CARES Act are going to be funneled through the Small Business Administration, the SBA. The SBA is in a federal agency that is the ones that provide this type of funding in the event of any catastrophe. So those of us on the Gulf Coast, we're very familiar with hurricane disaster recovery. So maybe over the last couple of years after Hurricane Harvey, you may have already applied for help through this very program to help your business stay afloat. So what the SBA does that's different for businesses as opposed to personal type help like the stimulus money that we'll talk about later is they provide loans. These are loans to businesses. However, and so don't let that turn you off right away, because these loans are under incredible terms, and it's something that hopefully can keep you afloat and keep you going. So let's talk about two loan programs. Okay, the first one is one that we should be pretty familiar with on the Gulf Coast area, and it's the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, EIDL, Economic Injury Disaster Loan. Like I said, these are the loans that we take out when there's a natural disaster, a tornado, a hurricane, an earthquake, a wildfire. Those things are available and have always been available. I think they were termed the SBA 7A loans. They have now been revamped and reorganized so that this corona pandemic qualifies as a national disaster. And so these loans can be up to $2 million. Okay? They are based on the lender's ability to repay. So if you have a business that's grossing $20,000 a year, you will not be able to borrow $2 million. But if you have proven expenses and damages because of the pandemic, that's what's going, and you have the ability to repay those through your business revenues, that's what's going to determine your eligibility for the EIDL loans. Like I said, these loans are incredible in their terms. These loans are given out at a 3.75% interest rate. 3.75. Now your credit cards are in the 20s, right? And if you go on a signature loan anywhere else in a bank, not backed by the federal government, not backed by the SBA, you're going to be talking about the high single digits, maybe even into the double digits interest rate. So this is a 3.75% interest loan for a for-profit entity and a 2.75% interest loan for nonprofits. These have incredible terms. You could have up to 30 years to pay these loans back. Again, and it's based on the borrower's ability to repay. But here's the key. Whether you want to take a loan out or not, whether you think you're going to get it, whether you're not, I'm telling you, you need to apply. And the reason is because under this CARES Act, that same application also entitles you to request a $10,000 grant, not a loan. A $10,000 grant that would be money paid to you by the federal government through the SBA that does not have to be paid back. And all it takes is for you to check a little box on the application saying you want to be considered for one of the grants. Now, the amount is up to $10,000, and it's going to depend on revenue and what your expenses are. But when is the last time that someone gave you a chance, a shot at $10,000? Now is the last time. It's right now. So if you're interested in that, and again, maybe even if you're not interested, go over there and apply for the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. And that website is sba.gov/page, P-A-G-E, /disaster-loan-applications. And if you didn't get that, pause the video, rewind it, go back. If you didn't get that, even again, if I'm talking too fast, just go to SBA.gov. Right now, that website has been completely revamped to direct people to the help that they need due to the coronavirus. Okay? So that's funding option number one. And business owners, I want you to really try to get onto that. That money can be used for anything, for payroll, for rent, for debts that the business has, for your accounts payable, those type of things that you need to pay so that you can stay in business. So get over there and apply for the money. Program 2 is the Paycheck Protection Program. Now, the basis of the Paycheck Protection Program, PPP, is we're trying to keep people employed and earning their wages, their salary, so that they can keep the wheels of the economic engine turning, right? And so this is an incredible program. This is another loan, but it is forgivable. So you could get a loan under this program, Paycheck Protection Program, and as long as you use it for your payroll expenses, you use it on your rent, if you are purchasing your location, you use it on the mortgage interest. I'm sorry, not the principal, but the interest, or your utilities. And so you have to use them for those 4 items: your payroll, your rent, your mortgage interest, or your utilities. You have to use them for those. And you maintain the same number of employees and their salaries or wages from the previous quarter. So we're talking probably November 2019, December 2019, January and February 2020. As long as you keep those the same, this loan gets forgiven. You don't have to pay it back. Now, if you have already laid off employees because of the downturn, this loan requires, and you have the ability, if you have to get the loan, to hire all those people back. So as long as you maintain your employment and your salaries, this once you get the loan from where you had them last quarter, and you use the money for that amount, you will be able to have this, you use the money for those 4 items, you will still be able to have the loan forgiven, not paid back at all. Now, if any of those change, if you don't rehire, if your salaries change, right, than what they were last quarter, then there'll be a graduated scale of how much they will forgive. And it'll start going down the further off from your previous numbers you are. So, again, it's worth it. Now, if you do not get your loan forgiven, then the payback is in 2 years. 2 years. You have a 2-year period to pay this loan back. Payment does not begin until 6 months from when you get the loan money. So you'll get the loan money. You will not have a loan payment for 6 months. But then if you have to repay, then you will have 2 years to repay. And get this, I keep telling you that these terms are incredible. The interest rate on this loan is 1%. 1%. You're not going to find that anywhere else. So the key is, so who can apply for this loan? It's got to be a business, and it can be a sole proprietorship, it can be a partnership, it can be S Corp, it can be a C Corp, it can be an LLC that has fewer than 500 employees. And again, speaking to you from Kingsville, I would say that is, if not all, a huge majority of the small businesses we have here in town. So again, please apply for this. Now, how do you do this one? This one comes from your local lender. So who do you have your bank accounts with? Are you with Clayburgh? Are you with South Texas? Are you with Wells? Are you with BBVA? Any of those guys, you should call in and find out if they are SBA approved lenders and tell them you want to get into the Paycheck Protection Program. All right? That's where that money's going to come from. And here's the thing. You think it's going to be scary? It's not scary. It's not going to be scary because these banks want to give you money. They want to give you money. And why would I say that? Because they're 100% guaranteed by the federal government. Okay? So that means if you do not pay, they call the SBA and say, this guy didn't pay me, and they get a check cut to them from the federal government. I'm not going to speak for a banker, right? But in my mind, I would imagine a banker would kind of hope that you don't pay because at that point, they just pick up the phone, call the SBA, and get completely paid back 100%. Now, let me make this a caveat here. I am not recommending that you renege on a loan agreement. I am not suggesting that you default on a loan on purpose. What I'm saying is use the resources that the laws have allowed for you and use them to keep our business going because that's the purpose of this program. All right, so I think I've gone pretty long. I've already talked about this for a little while. Let me just talk briefly about the stimulus check that everyone is talking about and everyone is entitled to who has filed taxes over the last couple of years. So the Treasury Department is going to start issuing payments, checks, to individuals and for it's $1,200 per person. So $2,400 for a married couple who filed jointly, plus $500 for each child dependent, so anyone under 18 years old. That's on your tax return. So if you've already filed your 2019 taxes, they're going to use the filing status and the number of dependents you had on that one. If you have not filed your 2019 taxes, they're going to look at the 2018 taxes. If you have not filed your 2018 taxes, now is a very, very good time for you to file those 2018 taxes. Now is a very good time to do it so that you're on the list. So, who's eligible? If you're single, not married, you have to have, if you make $75,000 or less, you're entitled to the $1,200. If your income is anywhere between $75,000 and $99,000 a year, you're going to get that payment, but it's going to be decreased on a graduated scale up to $99,000. If you make $99,001 as a single filer, you are not entitled to get the stimulus check. Married couples, it's double that. So married, filing jointly, if you make $150,000 or less, you're entitled to this $2,400 check. And then it goes all the way up to $198,000. If you make $198,000 and $1, then you are no longer eligible. Now, what are we talking about? We're talking about, we're not talking about gross revenue, right? So some of us say, hey, I have a job. It pays me $30,000, it pays me $50,000, it pays me $100,000, whatever it is a year. That's your gross income. What they're talking about, the $75,000 limit and the $150,000 limit, it's your adjusted gross income. So if you look at your tax return from these years, 2018 or 2019, it'll be a line item right there, what your adjusted gross income is. Your adjusted gross income, basically, and I'm just going to talk about it in broad terms, it's your gross income minus like your all your above the line deductions, your contributions to your retirement, 401k, SEP, IRA, that type of thing, student loan interest, contributions to a health savings account. Those things are the type of things that are deducted above the line that make your adjusted gross income. So, take a look at that. Maybe you'll get it. Now, if you have received a refund or paid your taxes through just a wire transfer or ACH type payment, you should be getting that check or that payment in that same bank account over the next couple of weeks, which is great. If you have only mailed your tax payment or received a tax refund in the form of a check, then they're going to mail it to you, and those payments might not get here until September. So just be prepared for that. Okay, so I've discussed a lot of information. I know I talk fast. I get a little emotional when I'm talking about small businesses and what we need to do to keep them alive. And I apologize for that. Well, no, I don't apologize for that. I don't apologize for that. I don't apologize for the way that I want to fight for what makes Kingsville great, what makes Kingsville our home. And so reach out to me if you have questions. This is an evolving situation, right? These things are going to have little hiccups in them. Don't let the first hiccup or bump in the road or closed door stop you from getting what the law allows you to get. Okay? Be tenacious. The same energy that you had when you started your business, the same intestinal fortitude that you had to say, I'm going to make this work no matter what. Use that right now. Okay? Whatever you use to start your business, use that same intensity to keep it alive. Okay? We are in triage right now. We are looking to assess what our damages are right now and what we need to do to get through this thing. So I'm going to get back on here probably the next day or two and discuss some more items. Please send me your questions. Send me any of your comments below or wherever you see this posted, and let me know what I can do to help you succeed. Again, this is Jaime Rocha, attorney and counselor at law here in the state of Texas, and I wish you all health, prosperity, and love. Thank you.